Welcome to Campfire Wisdom. Grab a seat around the fire and tell us your story.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Campfire Wisdom. We are here in my garage again, and it's good to be back. I got a confession to make. I was going to start this episode with a brand new segment using this green screen, but I realized that this is kind of more comfortable for me. So I'm in my camp chair. I got a cooler. This is my comfort zone. This is like exactly my setup. If I was sitting around a campfire, I'd love to have my cooler here for drinks. Maybe got some grub in here, whatever. So this felt more natural for me, right? Kind of introduce what we're gonna do today, what I'm working on, and I guess in some ways just welcome you back to the campfire, right? I do have a couple new things here today. I have a porcelain trailer. This was in my kids' room. It was first in my son's room, then in my daughter's room, and it was actually a partner with the porcelain campfire. So I figured, hey, I should reunite them, right? Makes sense. So I got a couple props here. I do have my Rivian R1T, which is going to help complete the diorama here. And I've got my flashlight. And as you can tell, I was successful at getting the battery out of this damn thing. So, man, I'm stoked. I have a video coming for this. It's going to detail the entire process, but I've hit a few snags along the way, just a few hiccups, nothing major, but I don't have all those pieces together, and I want it to be complete when I offer that to you. On this episode, we are going to do a deep dive on on electric vehicles and ice vehicles. I've been spending some time considering the cars that I would legitimately consider purchasing. So I know there's a lot more cars out there. I'm not a Ford guy, never been a Ford guy. Couple things as a history fan. Henry Ford was a known anti-Semite. He actually wrote a book called The American Jew. I know this is a long time ago, but still you can't get that taste out of my mouth. He also actually sent money to Adolf Hitler during his, now it was before the Nazi era, but when he was rising into power and doing things in Germany, Henry Ford's like, I like this guy. He's got something. So, I will never buy a Ford. Now again, I have owned a Ford, so my dear friend Nick gave me his car when I was without the nicest gesture ever. He bought a new car. He could have totally traded in his Ford Contour, but he knew I was a broke ass at the time, and he gave it to me. So, bro, much love. Anyways, so that is the only Ford I've owned in my lifetime, and will probably be the only Ford. So, never been a Dodge guy. Don't like the Nissan Titan. Just don't like the look. The Honda Ridgeline is just not rough enough. It's a little dainty. I mean, Jeep makes their Gladiator, but it looks stupid. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. A Jeep is a Jeep, right? Not Jeep Gladiator. I know what they're trying to do. I did like the Jeep Comanches back in the day. Where is this image? Old school Jeep Comanche, right here. This one right here. That, I do like that style, but I don't want to go old school and have to deal with all that kind of stuff. I want a modern vehicle, all that kind of stuff. So just didn't want to make sure you guys knew I wasn't totally dissing on Jeep. I love cars, as you can tell. I am a aficionado. My dad sold cars for 25 years. I always loved cars, but his passion for cars rubbed off on me in a big way. Um, so, yeah, realistically, the only vehicles I would consider in the truck lineup would be a Chevy Silverado or a Toyota Tundra. That's pretty much it. Toyota Tacoma, great car, great car, great car, too small. Okay, so let's take a look here. So I've got the 2024 Silverado 1500 here, right? Need something that's going to be able to tow the vehicle. The model, we've got the LT Trail Boss. Most important thing is I don't really care about the factory lift, but I do like the engine. Obviously, that's going to be great for towing and for torque. We got the tow haul mode because I do want to obviously consider getting a trailer down the road, so I want something that's going to be a performer. I'm the kind of guy that keeps a car for a long time, so if I'm going to get something, I'm going to get what I want and what I need, because I don't trade vehicles in a lot. I've had my Prius for 10 years now, so Chevy makes a great car. I've actually never owned a Chevrolet, but I've always liked the brand. Thought they'd done things right for a long time. So that's something I could consider. But the reality of it is that, let's look at it here. We're looking at miles per gallon to 16, 18. That's like, oh God, how do I do that? It's like, I can't justify that. I'm getting 45 miles a gallon in my Prius. It's just like, ooh, okay. So then that makes me think, all right, let me look at the Tundra. So build a Tundra. It's got the new iForce Max engine, much better gas economy, right? You're looking at 20, 24. Yeah, it's still bad, but way better than 16, 18, right? Actually, that's what I should do. Compare what I'm spending now, right? Let's bring up a notepad and let's do that. This is going to be Prius monthly cost, and we're going to do this really quick. I get 45 miles a gallon. So if we're doing 1,000 miles, so let's go 1,000 divided by 45 miles per gallon, right? So that means I'm going to go through 22.22 gallons per month, right? Well, I'm just saying I'm doing 1,000 a month because I average about 12,000 a year, so it's just an easy number to work with, right? Okay, so 22 gallons at $4.50, and I think that's the number I used here to do $4.50. Yes, it's a little bit lower than that right now, but that is a good ballpark number to have. So let's put this at $4.50 per gallon. That's, oh wow, that's funny because of the 45 here and the 45 miles a gallon. It actually ends up being perfectly $100. Look at that. My Prius, I'm spending about $100 a month in gas. The fucking Rivian would be less than that. That's crazy. Okay. Anyways, I'm glad we just did that real quick deep dive, or not very deep, shallow dive. But okay. So this is better gas mileage than the Silverado, right? Yes, this particular car has everything I would need to, right? Base trim cabs, the great engine, the towing package. It would have the nice audio with this package, which is kind of cool. My off-road stuff, moonroof. I love moonroof. And everything you'd need. Safety-wise, good to go, right? Toyota's great. I have a Prius now. I would love it. This car would be amazing. Fantastic. But again, that's 20 and 24. That's a tough pill to swallow. Okay, so then look at the Silverado EV. Love this. It looks fantastic in silver. It's got great economy, miles per gallon, distance, range, all that stuff. Not so good on the off-roading. I was looking at it. Seems like it's a little stiff. I'm sure it's capable, but it's also friggin' 97 grand. I can't afford that. So I did put it in my spreadsheet because I would consider it, even though it definitely is off kind of the radar somewhat. And then here's the one that I'm kind of leaning towards, the R1T dual standard. That's basically the basic motor. It's the dual. They make those motors in-house. They're called the Enduro motors. Really, really solid performance. I watched a bunch of stuff on that. Super awesome. I do not mind 258 miles. It's on the 20-inch tires. I've heard the 20-inch tires just are easier to replace, and they seem to perform a little bit better off-road. So I was considering that as compared to these wheels that cost more, right? These are included, and I think it looks fine. I would do this dark silver metal paint job. The reason I really like this battery is it's LFP. You can charge it better. It's got longer lifespan. It's safer. There's a lot of reasons why I think LFP are better batteries than NMC. So that's the only one of the R1Ts that is an LFP, is this particular battery. So I like that. Then premium audio. I like good sound. It's not too much. I was considering not getting this utility panel, but I think it kind of makes sense. And then powered tonneau cover. My buddy has a Rivian, and he's got some of these features. I don't need like the camp speaker and all that kind of stuff. It's just unnecessary if you ask me. But let's look at this document here. So let me just bring this a little bit more front and center. Let me just kind of bring this in. Let me enlarge this a little bit here. Let's go to 150. Can we still see all of it? Yes. Actually, let me go back to 125 because I wanted you to all see it at a glance. Okay, cool. So the important stuff here is I figured I'd probably come down the down payment, $15,000. That's in general 20% of the cost of the car, right? I mean, let's face it, cars are more expensive than they've ever been. It's kind of nuts. But it's interesting to look at the Chevy EV's got a pretty low rate on it right now. It's pretty kind of nutty. Maybe they're just trying to move them. But so I've got the rate, I've got the term. This is all figured at 72 months. I can change that obviously, but I wanted to keep everything the same. So this is the monthly payment that you'd be looking at. And I put gas savings. So gas savings only applies for these two vehicles, right? And basically it's a factor of an average of the two here, and then minus your monthly miles. That's basically your difference, right? So this averages the $240 a month minus the $80 that it would cost me to do 1,000 miles, and then the difference there is I'd save about $160 a month in gas. Here it'd be a little less. It costs a little bit more to fill up this vehicle and to drive it. The Silverado is not as efficient per gallon, or not per gallon, but per kilowatt hour. So my gas savings would be a little bit less there. So what I did is I took these payments, right? And again, flat numbers just to compare apples to oranges, but you're looking at what? This is $1,200 for your payment, $1,168, $934, $1,386, right? So minus the gas savings, we have our loan payment here. So I figured out this is what your loan payment would be after the gas savings, and then I actually did insurance. I called them ballpark these. Most of these, my insurance people wanted to know so many details about these cars, but I was like, could I say it's about average 200? And they're like, yeah, it's probably going to be less than that. I asked specifically about the Rivian R1T just because obviously I know the ins and the particulars, and there's not that many options on it, right? It's really easy to kind of narrow down what the features you want. So this here is the total payment. So the total payment takes the loan payment minus the gas savings plus the insurance, right? So we're looking over here. Obviously, Silverado EV 1456. Let's start with the lowest one. The lowest one would be the Chevy with the crappy gas mileage, right? So that would be my lowest monthly. But again, my monthly cost to drive that for 1,000 miles would be $250 versus $80 on the Rivian. That's astonishing. So the cheapest one's the Chevy. The next one is the Rivian. So that was like, oh, interesting. Okay. Then we have the Toyota Tundra. Now, Toyotas are expensive. I get it. It is better gas mileage, but it's just a more expensive vehicle, right? And the rates are pretty high here. So, God, rates are just so terrible right now. It's not a good time to buy a car. Thankfully, I got some time. So, cost to fill, I just basically did how much it's going to cost to fill this up on full charge at home. And this is at 23 cents. I did the research on this from Southern California Edison. This is again at $4.50 a gallon. I figured out the 22.5 is the size of the Tundra tank, and that's the size of the Chevy tank. So these are the costs to fill those tanks. And then these are your range, right? This is obviously the miles per gallon at its peak, calculated out, and so on and so forth with the Chevy Silverado, gas powered or ICE, and 440 here on the Chevy V. That's really good distance, right? But damn, that's just too much. That's $250 more a month than even the Rivian. That's nuts. By the way, none of these have any EV tax credits. The Rivian does not currently qualify for it, and neither does the Chevy Silverado EV. The Chevy is the cheapest, right? But the best value for me, $65 more. You're getting an EV truck, right? You're getting something that can handle everything. It's what I want, really. It's great gas mileage. It's only going to cost me $80 a month to drive 1,000 miles. That's like insane. I hope you enjoyed that. That's a little bit of a surface skimming. It's not surface skimming, but it's just where my head's at. I would love to get feedback from any of you people out there who own any of these vehicles, and do some towing, do some camping. What's your experience been with them? I'd love to hear that. In particular on there's the R2. R2 is sweet too, but man, it's just too small. It's just about the size of our Forester. Looks fantastic. Maybe someday my wife might want one. I don't know. I would love to know from you R1T owners out there what you think about the 20-inch wheels, any of the features I mentioned, the premium audio. This is the 2025, so I know it's different year to year, but if any of you guys have one, I'd love to get some feedback on that. So I really appreciate you guys coming along with me. Again, this is where my head is at relative to the options that I am considering, and I would really love any feedback on anything on my document here. Maybe there are things I need to consider, but if you've got an opinion on something, please let me know. I had to pick up my car from the mechanic, right? It was getting repaired. The Toyota Prius needed some love. So I walk the 3.6 miles to the mechanic. It's at Unical 76 up at Haven and 210. I do amazing work. So if you need anybody to work on your car, ask for Tim. He will do you right. Anyways, I walk up there. It was a nice walk. Enjoyed it. I get to the Unical station, I open the door, and I ask the gentleman working there, I say, hey, I'd like to pick up my car from repair. I don't know exactly what I said, but something to the effect, I'm here to pick up my car from repair. So the clerk turns around and throws a pack of Capri cigarettes on the counter, right? And I was like, oh, no, I'm here to pick up my car from repair. It's a Prius, a Toyota. And then all of a sudden something clicked and he's like, oh, hold on. Turns around, gets my keys, rings me up. I'm out the door. This is funny for a couple of reasons. First, the fact he heard that I wanted cigarettes when I actually just wanted to pick up my car. But number two, specifically, he offered me Capri cigarettes, which have always been marketed towards women, right? So I go home, I tell my wife the story, and I tell her, isn't that funny, right? And she says that I'm being sexist for assuming that Capri cigarettes are marketed towards women. That's where I should have left it. But sadly, I did not. I decided to Google Capri cigarettes. That's all I did. Capri cigarettes. And lo and behold, this is what popped up. I can't remember if I texted my wife a photo or if I just showed it to her, but immediately I annoyed her. She's like, the next time you have something to say and you really, really want to say it, remember,
don't say a word!
Thanks for joining me around the campfire. Hope you got something out of today's episode. And you probably got an insight into where my head is at as far as an adventure vehicle is concerned. Definitely leaning towards Rivian, company ethos, the vehicle itself, that gear tunnel is really cool. But yeah, being a part of like the EV movement and learning about it alongside my kids, I think that would be a really fun thing to do and a responsible thing to do as a parent. So I hope you enjoyed our new segment. There'll be more down the road. I hope you guys get a kick out of that. Yeah, be on the lookout for my episode about my Maglite. When I get to 100 subscribers, I'm gonna buy a random person a flashlight, a super dope Mini Maglite 332 lumens, color of their choice. I'll just pick someone from the comments at random. I'll do a randomizer and do that. I'll record it so it's legit. But yeah, when they get to 100 subs, I will buy someone a flashlight. Cool. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you guys get a chance to get yourself outdoors, outside, and get a chance to wake up beneath the stars. I'll see you next time.
Oh, it's only.
Campfire Wisdom is brought to you from the hills of Rancho Cucamonga. We'd like to thank the men and women that protect our national parks and forests. You make this journey possible. Theme music by Sean Cromwell.